Hey guys, Nini here, and I'm here to read chapter 20 of a Ben fanfiction. So yeah, let's begin. Chapter 21, The Nightmare. I wanted to talk to Ben, but I was still pretty hurt. Fuck it. I walked inside and found Ben sitting on a couch. He looked so sad. Ben, I said, looking at him. He looked over at me, tears in his eyes. Violet. I sat next to him, looking down. Can we talk? I said, my voice cracking. He shifted and looked over at me. Of course. I looked at him, tears streaming down my face. I know I don't really care if you do drugs and all. I still love you, and nothing could ever change that. But the thing that really hurt me was the fact you didn't tell me, and you picked them over me. Ben looked at me wide-eyed. Violet, I'm sorry. I would never pick anything to replace you. I wasn't all there. I'm sorry. Does make sense? I don't know if it makes sense to you guys, but it doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, he said as blood and tears fell down from his face. I shut him up and kissed him. Stop crying. You look better when you smile, I said, looking into his eyes. He stopped crying and kissed me back, even harder, like he missed me, wrapping his arms around me, pulling me into him. I smiled and kissed him back, pushing him onto the couch. I love you so much, he said, hugging me, putting his face into my neck. I love you more than you could ever imagine, I said back, smiling. Get some... this one's funny. Okay. Get some, we heard Jack say as he ate kidneys in the background. We both laughed and told him to shut up. Uncle Sunday, can I uncover my eyes now? Sally said, whining. Cinnamon laughed and motioned Sally toward the door. Let's go, everyone. We're leaving, he said, opening the door. I smiled and waved bye to everyone and walked outside with Ben holding his hand. Jeff walked up to me and whispered in my ear, Everything work out okay? I nodded happily and looked over at him. That's good. I thought I was going to have to kill him. I giggled and he walked away talking to Sally. You know, my birthday is in 3 weeks, I said, looking over at Ben, smiling, squeezing his hand. Really? He said excitedly. I nodded, smiling. Yep. He looked at me sweetly. What do you want for your birthday, babe? I blushed a little, looking down. Well, I don't really know. Never really gotten anything for my birthday before, I said shyly. Sunday opened the portal and let us into the woods. As we reached the woods, Ben stopped and stared at me wide-eyed. You've never gotten anything for your birthday? I shook my head no and continued walking. He looked at me, smiling widely. Well then, I guess I'll have to get you something, he said happily. He smiled brightly. I smiled brightly at him. Thanks, I said. He hugged me from behind and laughed. Anything for my girl. We finally reached the mansion after an hour of walking. I yawned and walked upstairs, still holding Ben's hand. I looked over at him sleepily. I'm tired, babe, I said, laying down. He smiled at me and put my head on his chest. Good night, my love. He said as he kissed my head. I smiled and closed my eyes. Good night. I walked through a long and dark hallway that looked over never ending. I saw a figure standing in a corner, all bloody. Mom? said, looking out. I said, scared out of my mind. I saw her look up, her red eyes glowing straight into mine. Look what you did to me, Violet. Look what you did. Why would you do this to me? Don't you love me? She screamed as blood teared down her face and body. I do love you, Mommy. What are you talking about? I said, crying hard. He comes. You're a monster, Violet. A freak, she whispered and then disappeared. I was now crying uncontrollably. Sorry, it feels like something's in my throat. I was now crying uncontrollably. Violet, look what you've done to us. I turned around to face them, face to face with my father. Blood was coming down from his neck. He comes. I stepped back and fell, hitting my head as blood from my eyes and down my face. I screamed as it burned something it hasn't done in a long time. I sat there holding my face, backing up into a corner. He comes. Violet, Violet, wake up! My eyes shot open and saw Ben shaking me, trying to wake me up. Are you okay? You are having a nightmare, he said, pulling me into a hug. I lied and said, yeah, I'm fine, I said, pulling away, leaning back down. He looked at me with worried eyes. You sure? He said. I smiled at him and nodded. I'm sure, I said, kissing him on the cheek. I checked the time. It was 3:03 a.m. I sighed, closing my eyes, and tried to catch up on my sleep. I was going to need it for later on today when I want training. So that is chapter 1, and I hope you guys enjoy. Bye-bye.